Williams does feed down low. 6 on 4, 24 to go. Back to the blue line, Williams. Cross ice for Eastman. Williams once more, looks, wants to throw corner. Here's back to Eastman, couldn't control. 13 to go. Cross ice pass Eastman once more. Steps through, a centering feed in front, save Mulholland, the rebound, knocked aside. 4 to go. Eastman with a shot. That's blocked off. Another one. Save Mulholland. Time runs out. Did they score? He's
giving it to him.
He scores with less than a second to go. Down to the far side boards. Up towards the blue line and not out of his zone on a blown keep in. Down low, it's Thompson. Thompson couldn't catch up to that puck. Around to Murphy. Murphy throws through a screen, goal! It was deflected in front!
Is that Thompson or Bauer?
Either way, William Patterson advances to tomorrow's championship.
Brakovic dumps it in. Brakovic in pursuit. They'll win it back to Heighton. Heighton walks to the middle. Go! 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 That's it! That's it! That's it!
A season that started over 4 months ago all wraps up today. It's the ECHA Championship game between the Navy Midshipmen and the William Patterson Pioneers. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Luke Meli alongside Matt Rainier. We'll be taking you through today's broadcast of the final game of the season. And it took a lot to get us here. We have the 1 seed and the 2 seed, but it was not an easy route for either. These games started on Friday with Westchester University and Villanova both moving on through the quarterfinal. And then last night, 2 overtime games with the Pioneers taking down the Ice Cats 6-5 in overtime and the Midshipmen taking down Westchester University 2-1 in overtime. And that's what sets us up here today. These two teams have had some long seasons to get these 1 and 2 seeds. Navy with a 10-2-2 conference record, and the Pioneers 9-4-1 in the ECHA. They started 11-1. They were on fire. And Matt, these are probably the 2 teams we thought we'd end up with as the 1 and 2 seeds in this game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, both these teams, they clearly have clear identities of what they are. William Patterson, a much more offensive and aggressive team. Navy is much more defensive, and you can see they reflected in their scores in their games last night. William Patterson, a 6-5 overtime victory, and then Navy, a 2-1 victory, both games in overtime. So it's clear what these two teams are going to be like today. The question is, will offense prevail, or will the defensive of Navy keep it going?
2 teams with very different styles, but they do have one thing in common, some very dominant men in net. First, for the Pioneers, we expect to see Cole Mulholland today, the second-team all-conference goaltender, went 11-2, a 91.5 save percentage. This guy has had his fingerprints all over a Pioneer season. We always recognize their offense, but you've got to give him credit. And then on the Navy side, second-team all-conference as well, Charles Doherty, 14-5, another high save percentage. This is going to be a big matchup. We know the Pioneers bring that high-powered offense. The Navy Midshipmen bring their defense. But, Matt, these goaltenders have really stepped up this season.
No, sir, absolutely. Both goaltenders, their stats are nearly identical. I'm going to give, though, a slight nod to Charles Doherty. Given what Navy has to go through, they're not really that strong on the offensive end. So I give him more the nod of him being dominant on the defensive end. He's really taken advantage of a great defense, and he's been able to translate that into a high save percentage, 14-5 record like you've mentioned. Meanwhile, Cole Mulholland, 11-2 record, 91% save percentage, but he does allow 2.9 goals a game. So it's going to be difficult to see there. Let's see, will this offense be able to get past the defense? I'm not quite sure if they will. I'm going to give the nod to Doherty, though, in this matchup.
And you mentioned the high-powered Navy defense and the high-powered Pioneers offense. It's going to be such a great matchup, Matt. We talked about how the Pioneers, they've really only had 1 game with 2 or less goals this season. They have come out each and every game led by guys like Adam Marvin and Austin Teets. And then for the Midshipmen, a first-team all-conference defender and Brendan Reynolds. They certainly have the personnel to play the styles that they do. And in a championship game like today, is there a style that you think favors one side or the other, defense or offense?
Well, the old adage says, offense sells tickets, but defense wins championships. And I'm going to give the nod to the Midshipmen there. And I expect Brendan Reynolds, and Adam Marvin to be matching up all game long. Both teams were first team all conference nods for both of those guys. Obviously, they play different positions, but it's going to be interesting to see how they match up. Will the defense prevail, or will the offense outshine them?
And we talked about it on Friday. Adam Marvin is a threat. And we know that Cameron Smith won Player of the Year in the ECHA, but I don't think anyone would have argued if Adam Marvin was in that spot as well. Led his team in points, in goals, and assists. He really did it all. First team all-conference, as you mentioned. He had a goal last night in the win over Villanova. He did get beat out for Player of the Year, but I think as long as the Pioneers can get the win today, that's all that'll matter to him. But the matchup, as you mentioned, on the midshipman side, some great defenders, including Brendan Reynolds, another first-team all-conference member. Didn't put a ton up in the goals and assist department, but that's not his job. His job today is to match up with Adam Marvin.
Absolutely, and it'll be interesting to see, they're clearly the best players on their team, so a head-to-head clash like this will be interesting, to say the least. He, as you mentioned, Marvin lost Adam Player of the Year, but really for him, I think that'll just put a chip on his shoulder. Michael Jordan, 93, he didn't win over Charles Barkley, and he just said, okay, fine, you can have that. I'm going to get this. He may not be going up against him, but still, it's going to be great. It's going to be a great matchup, to say the least.
We have our first Michael Jordan comparison to Adam Marvin, and that'll be it for us.